Good morning, I am Adam Harris, and this is the day ahead. Don't forget to click subscribe below to receive daily market analysis videos and important alerts. On the economic calendar for today, we have Governor Carney speaking out of the UK at 1 p.m. and the US Fed's Chair Powell speaking at 5:45 p.m. In the currencies, the strong US dollar seeks to keep the majors heading lower, but in the commodities, gold and silver look to push back and possibly climb higher. This bullish attitude appears in the indices and equities as well, with some growth expected there also. You could jump to any chapter by clicking on the time link in the description below. And kicking off with currencies, we can see here the US dollar index actually almost connecting with 97 yesterday. And so let's see how it goes today. It's close enough that it may actually decide to retrace today or ultimately continue on up and just connect with it. But overall, still expecting a stronger US dollar, which then leads to the euro US dollar. Look into this. This is now broken through that 1.13 level. Not finding any support at this point. We could find that it just does head back over that again because it's still within that overall range. But for the moment, it actually looks relatively bearish, and so my first expectation here is to see this continue to head lower, which means that cable will also continue to head lower. It's now broken through the 1.29 support level and heading on down towards 1.28. So basically expecting that stronger US dollar and weaker euro, weaker pound. Euro CAD having come back and successfully rejected that level of support, previous support as resistance, now continuing to head lower, so that looking pretty nice, unfolding as discussed and planned. And Aussie CAD, let's have a look at Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD similarly actually coming back, rejecting that level, still finding some support just below that at the 0.94 level, but still ultimately looking more bearish than bullish. Then having a look at CAD Swissy. So CAD Swissy actually having that, finding some support, having a strong rejection candle, but actually not continuing lower. So yesterday then producing another bullish candle. If we break the high of that, we should see that continue to head on upwards. So far actually, that also managing to stay above that level of support and still maintaining its bullish move. And then last on the list for today, at least, Swiss yen and Aussie Kiwi still continuing to stay above the levels of support. So no change there, and we'll see how they unfold towards the end of the week. In the commodities on the move, looking at gold first, just see that it is continuing to produce a bullish candle, staying above that 382 level, also staying within the moving averages, and currently printing a bullish candle. Be very interesting to see if we break this previous swing high and then resume that uptrend and continue to head on upwards. Silver as well, managing to stay to the upside there actually. Overall still producing high lows and higher highs, so not as bullish, neither of them as bullish as they were, but still continuing actually to trickle to the upside. Palladium, very interesting to see this come back down, breaking through this level of resistance and coming back to test it, producing a bullish candle at the moment. And so this may well, if it does finish as a bullish candle, may well set up for a continuation to the next level, which is the 1400 level. So that's looking nice and not very, very bullish, but certainly more bullish than bearish there. We've got crude oil as well here, having produced the bearish candle and broken to the downside, that broken the low of last week's, this is on a weekly time frame, broken the low of last week's bearish candle. It's got a level of support and resistance here. Once we break below that, my expectation is to see that accelerate and start to move lower a little bit faster. And that's really it in terms of commodities for today. Onto the global indices, and interestingly enough, they appear to be maintaining that bullishness that they've set up since Friday last week and starting to head on higher. This is Wall Street. S&P is very similar as well. US Tech 100 also continuing to just trickle to the upside. So yesterday being a bit of a dull day, not much happening, now continuing to push a little bit higher. The UK, this is interesting to me. The FTSE 100 actually connecting with those moving averages, breaking the high there. We now have that swing low, and certainly looks today, my expectation is to see these head back up towards that 7200 level. Germany 30, the DAX, this is one I'm going to be interested to see how this turns around. This is now pulled back into a level of resistance and produced that bearish candle last week, and currently looking to stay above historical level of support and resistance. I'd like to see this actually break the high of last week, and that would just completely negate last week's bearish candle because it's effectively set up to go lower. If it breaks the high of that, we then head into an uptrend, and actually that then changes things. We then start to look more and more bullish across the board from east to west, and that's quite interesting. As if you look at Hong Kong here, you can see it also back up its highs. This trend looking nice and stable, and even since Friday actually continuing on higher. So all of that looking nice and bullish, especially as we head towards as we head away from the US. Everything looking nice and very much intending on continuing upwards. And lastly, for today at the selected equities in focus, just interesting. Most of these charts actually experience a bit of a gap up and at the same time a bit of a bearish candle. So technically a swing low, but not a very, very bullish one. So today I'd like to see us produce green candles across the board and starting to trickle a little bit higher. If you go and have a look at, say, Amazon, you could just see that it's just still hitting a little bit lower, not as bullish as the rest of them. But then if we say look at Netflix, there we go. We've got that gap up, that bearish candle. I'd like to see us continue up and ahead, start to push and test those levels. Boston Scientific continues it's sitting at its highs and continues to consider mulling around hitting that 40 level. So overall looking nice and bullish, but if it does come back and test that 38.6 level, that would be very nice to test it for support and then continue on upwards. Just again interesting to see that that bullishness across the board. Now looking at the more bearish ones on my list, and this looking quite interesting. Standard Chartered having broken through, coming back, produced a nice bullish candle sitting on previous level of resistance for support. So can that produce another swing low and continue on higher? We've got Lloyd's Banking Group as well, sitting within a little bit of a tight range, but yesterday producing a bit of a bullish candle there. So it's got a head up breakthrough, head up towards 60. That's what I'd like to see to be sort of more convinced. But again, what we're not seeing is that sort of lack of correlation. We've got correlation here between the weaker and the stronger equities as well. BP as well, gapping up, but producing technically a swing low. I'd like it to come back and test this level of resistance for support and then continue on upwards, but it seems already keen to head up from where it is. So seeing some bullishness even in the most bearish on my list. So expecting that to continue for today. So on that note, ladies and gents, I want to wish you a wonderful day. If it's trending, I'll be there. Just a reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you want to stay abreast of what's happening in the market, I'll be producing and bringing you the latest in the markets every morning in a freshly produced video.